Welcome to the Half-Blood Report.
Here we discuss Percy Jackson news, interviews, and all things Riordan. I'm Samuel, your co-host.
And I'm Diego, your other co-host. And this week we have a very special guest for all of you.
Yep, we will be interviewing Jalen Steele, who played Sally in the Lightning Thief musical. Jalen, welcome to the podcast.
Hi! Thanks so much for having me. Yay! So excited to be here.
Yeah, so we'll get right off to the first question.
Awesome.
Obviously, most of the people listening know you best for your role in the Lightning Thief musical as Sally. How do you compare yourself to Sally, and what aspects do you both share?
I think Sally is a wonderful, loving, genuine, sees the greatest in every and all things kind of person. And I do as well. So I think we share that kind of love bond of always seeing the good in people and wanting to bring that out in every person I meet and every person Sally meets, I'm sure. There's a sort of wanting to bring that goodness out of each person and each individual we meet. So I think, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, obviously, you've played many different roles throughout your career. How is she similar or different to some other roles you've played?
Well, I have played the mother several times in several different shows. I've actually played a mom in Sisters. I was the mother of one of the people there, and just kind of in general, I kind of get into the motherly role of the cast off stage sometimes. So I feel like Sally has that same quality as far as the motherly role. I just play that kind of in life, though I don't have any kids yet. I'm always mothering, I think, grown adults.
Careful.
What about those same questions to other characters, not as major, but other characters you play in the Lightning Thief musical?
How I relate to them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the only other one. Well, no, I kind of relate to all of them. I because there's a bit of comedy aspect in all of them, and there's a bit of seriousness. So I feel like I embodied both of those from time to time. A lot of joy, but seriousness every now and then. I think with Kayron, who is sort of the underworld mistress, if you will, sort of escort to the underworld. I think both of us have that kind of diva aspect at times where, we'll get the job done, but you're going to hear us sing as well. I think that would be the sort of connection that I have with her. And Echidna, Mother of Monsters, there we go. I'm a mother again. So even though it's a chimera, still a motherly role. Let's see. Oh, the Oracle as well. Sort of telling the future and things like that. I guess the Oracle and I both have in common we're tall. I guess that would be the one of the similarities there. I don't really predict the future, but I can play someone who predicts the future. So.
The Lightning Thief musical is based on the Lightning Thief book by Rick Riordan. What was your experience with the book? Did you read it before playing the character, or did you read it as you were trying to understand the role?
Well, actually, I didn't know anything about the Lightning Thief until my agent called and said, you have an audition on this date at this time, da 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 da. So I was like, okay, great. And I go in and I read the material. I'm like, oh, I kind of dig this. Like it's, it's easy enough. Like the script itself is taken directly from the book. So a lot of it is. And so I kind of related to it a little bit. And then when I got the call back for the show, I had to learn some of the material this music and stuff. And so when I went to I think it was the YouTube page and saw like how many views Strong and DOA had, I was like, wait a minute, what is this? Like, why does everybody know about this but me? So I actually, when I got cast, I was like, well, since so many people know about this, I really need to know about this. And I'm a bit of a script nerd. So anytime I get a show, I research anyway, just because I want to know as much as I can about it. And I ended up getting all 5 of the books like on my iPad, because I was like, I need to know what's happening here. There are a lot of people that know about it. So with Sally, because my character Sally and others, so I knew I had to get Sally right. Just, you know, because the fandom and so many people know and love these characters. I was like, well, I want to be able to embody what they have in the books and also embody what I bring to the role. So a little bit of my mom went in there too, you know, in creating the role. But I definitely I did as much research with the books. I read through the entire first book before we left for tour. So during rehearsals, I made sure to do that. And and some of the artwork that the fans would send, I kind of got like some things from that as well. So the artwork that was sent out, I kind of drew, especially with Selena as well. I drew a lot from there. I forgot about Selena. Oh my gosh.
For
So
Selena,
many characters.
the sideline.
Oh, sideline Selena. No good.
Well, this segues pretty good into our next question, which you already kind of answered. How do you make sure, obviously this is a book that has a lot of fans, how do you make sure to stay true to the book while still providing your own interpretation?
That's exactly what I wanted to do with all of the roles that I did. Some of the minor characters, I kind of wanted to just be like, you know, whatever. Like I wanted to make it Jalen, you know, so I went like wacky crazy with them. But for Sally and Selena and everyone, I wanted to make sure that that they knew, like, there was a little bit of the book and there was a little bit of me in each scene. So especially with Sally doesn't have a lot to work with. Even in the books, as I was reading the books, I realized, you know, you get a very brief description of Sally and she's here and there and everywhere, but she's such an important part of the story. So I wanted to make sure that I got all of that kind of wrapped up into it, wrapped into one person, one character, with how I sang to Percy and you know how I interacted with him on stage. So yeah, Selena actually was one of the harder ones, because in my mind I had an idea, but I didn't want to make her like Valley Girl Selena superficial, because she's so much more, you know. She's a complex creature. So I wanted to try to bring a little bit of the love and things like that. So interesting enough, is just funny things. At the very end of the show, James played Luke. James he rips the banner off of the scaffolding and runs out, and he passes me. And there's a moment, no one ever saw it, but there's a moment that I look at him and I'm like, oh, I feel bad for you. It's so brief, no one would have ever known. If we were doing it today, I'm sure people would like look to see it, but there was a brief moment that we had that I felt was very important to Selena's story. So I made sure to do that.
That's a cool addition.
Yeah. I made sure, I was like, let me just look at him. Okay. And he's
Disappointment.
yeah, exactly. I feel bad for him. So bad.
Just a glare.
Just to look. Oh, Luke. And then he's gone. But yeah, there was so much of the book, because I read the book as we were going out on tour. And with this show, we had so many times there were, because I had newly gotten into it, there were some cast members that had already sort of kind of, you know, been in the show. They know it backwards and forwards and things like that. But I was learning the show as well. And there's so many moving parts and so many things. And if I'm not on stage, I'm changing backstage or moving some scaffolding or moving this plinth over here or doing, like, there's always constant stuff. So I was learning that as I was reading the books and trying to like put a little bit of the books into when I was rolling this over and when I was doing So
I've been stabbed by a monster in the leg. I'll roll
right,
slower.
right. Oh, so true. Yeah, definitely.
One question we had was actually when the show was running on Broadway, we talked to Sam Light, who was the understudy to
Oh
Percy.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Sam Light. I when I auditioned, funny little side note, I auditioned with him in my callback, and we had to do stage combat together. So he was my partner for stage combat, and I could tell when we were together, I was like, I think we got it.
that's so awesome.
I think we got the gig.
We got this.
Yeah. Oh, but go ahead. I'm sorry. You were talking with Sam.
No, it's fine. That was a cool snippet. So, but he told us that when you're performing strong, he sometimes felt a little bit stressed because he would have a marshmallow in his mouth that he needed to swallow before he started singing. And I was wondering, did that happen to you as well?
Funny enough, I don't eat the marshmallow, thankfully. What happens is Chris usually would do it. They would spray paint the marshmallow blue. It was the funniest thing because he would always have like a blue tongue afterwards, and he'd have like blue Gatorade. But the only time I ever got stressed about the marshmallow was when Chris he couldn't finish it, so then he starts to sing and he spits it out on my dress.
Oh no.
He spits like, I see like two pieces like come flying towards me, and I'm like, oh, pretend like I didn't see that.
Was that in a performance?
It was in a performance, yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's
the
nothing
only-
you can do there. You gotta stay
yeah.
still. You gotta take it.
Right. No, I've been spit on so many times. You just gotta just roll with it, and then as soon as you go off stage, just wipe it off, no matter where it lands. But yeah,
The show must go on.
It must. There are so many stories of just things that would happen on stage, but you just got to roll with it because it's a live performance. But yeah, the marshmallow in the mouth would, because if you're not used to it, you're like, I don't know when to chew, I don't know when to swallow, I don't know how to eat this at all.
Gotta make my cue.
I've forgotten how to chew food. But yeah, it was. I know he did have a few heart palpitations about making sure he finished that marshmallow.
More of a different sort of question, but obviously you didn't just start your career with playing Sally. You've obviously like you did theater probably when you were younger. And it's kind of like a two-part question. How did you go about becoming an actress, and what was that journey like?
Well, I'll try to answer it as brief as possible because
No, please take your time.
When I go into my origin story.
Yeah.
I actually, funny enough, I grew up in church. My dad was a pastor, and I would have to go to church every single Sunday and several times a week, and quite a bit of church time. But one of my favorite things that I would do was Vacation Bible School. And Vacation Bible School, we would have a play at the end of every one. So the play, I kind of fell in love with theater when I fell in love with like playing these characters in Vacation Bible School. And I was always the bad kid that turned good towards the end. Because it was so much fun to play the villain. So I would play the bad kid, and then turn around and I would, be the good kid, good kid, funny enough, by the end of the story. I like that. But when I would do those, I felt such a freedom and kind of love for being able to, portray these characters and do things like that. I always sang because I started singing, I think when I was like 3 or 4 years old. My folks would pop me up and be like, all right, go ahead and sing. So I would sing all the time. But theater kind of came, through Vacation Bible School and stuff like that. And then high school is when I really started to kind of focus on doing plays and stuff like that, just theater itself. So my high school, we actually went to state and won state my senior year of high school. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Wait, I might actually be good at this.
I might be all right.
I might Like it was always a fun little journey there. And so when it came to deciding like my major in college, my dad asked me, you know, what if somebody called you to come do your job at like 3 a.m. or at the very most inconvenient time in your life, what would you have like no problem at all doing? What would you be able to just get up and do? And I was like, well, I'd be able to act the fool. So performance it is. So I decided to major in musical theater and at St. Francis State University in Texas. And the program there is very intense, but a very loving sort of situation. So I learned quite a bit about stage performance, live performance. And I could dance, but I wasn't a dancer. Like ballet turned out tappity tap tap sort of situation. So I had to learn how to do that in college. So that was actually a really kind of, it was one of the hardest things for me to do because I'd been singing and acting all my life. But dance and everything like that, learning how to do that was one of the toughest things. So I actually ended up my emphasis was dance so that I could take as many classes as I could to kind of even out the playing field. And then, and then
make sure you knew both.
Right. I had to cover all my bases there. So afterwards, I ended up getting Broadway Theater Project. I auditioned for that, and Broadway Theater Project got me my first sort of major tour, and I toured with the show Fosse. And so we did 96 cities in 9 months. It was non-equity, so you could do that.
That's a lot of cities.
Yeah, we did quite a few cities in those 9 months. And I learned a lot, learned also that I absolutely love performing. So that's kind of how it went. And then from there, I think I did cruise ships and I did a couple of regional theaters and things like that. So just fortunate enough to stay working throughout all of that. So that's kind of the origin story.
The backstory to how you got to where you are now.
Right.
Yeah. The Lightning Thief was actually the last play I saw because shortly afterwards, and by shortly I mean like 3 months or so, the pandemic shut down theaters and Broadway.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, obviously the pandemic has affected you, but how has it affected both you and theater as a whole from your other peers that you may talk to?
So for me, especially, like I said, I've had to learn how to do a lot of audio visual recording, audiovisual, live streaming, things like that, because, where I still want to be able to perform, but since we can't, be on a stage and be in a crowded area together, I felt like that was probably the most obvious next step, as far as like keeping busy and keeping the artisticness going. And I've watched a whole lot of YouTubes. Whole lot of how-to YouTube videos in order to sort of learn how to do that. And I actually, right when it first happened, a couple of friends of mine, they reached out. They're like, oh, we're going to put together this for a benefit and we're going to put together this for video and all this kind of stuff, because a lot of the theaters were having to shut down. But as far as shutting down, there goes their funding, there goes, them being able to keep their lights on and keep their doors open, more so in the future. So I did a lot of benefits and things like that with some of my friends, just for them to be able to keep, like I said, keep the doors open and lights on. And I think I started doing these silly COVID commercials. I don't know if you if you go to my Instagram, and I think they're still on my Facebook page as well. I did like the Time Life series where they have all of these different songs. So I ended up doing a couple of those, just like as Time Life commercials for the COVID season.
That's funny.
Definitely check those out. But it was a great like outlet for me to like still be able to sing and make people laugh at a very crazy time in our lives, so I felt like it was a good way to sort of let some sunshine in. But yeah, auditioning and everything came to a screeching halt. So as far as like jobs and stuff, they went from few to almost non-existent. as being in this business, it's a constant thing. You're constantly auditioning, you're constantly, trying to get the next gig and things like that. So when everything comes to a grinding halt, that kind of affected us in a way of, okay, now what do we do? So so I got found a good outlet with the commercials and learning how to do visual audio stuff. Essentially, for my friends and all, some of them actually got some gigs in television and things like that. I don't have my SAG card yet, so it's a little harder for me. But yeah, some of them got things like that, and some people went completely in a different direction and started doing like construction, building houses and things like that. So I think a lot of us found our niche in other realms, and some of them still in the performance base, but also in other realms too. So it was a bit of a shock, but it's, you got to roll with it. It's like if somebody spits a marshmallow on you on stage, you just got to roll with it. So
the show must go on.
Right. That's kind of what we've been doing. So
yeah. So speaking of audio visual things and other mediums and things you've been doing, can you tell us a little bit about your super exciting Lightning Thief classes that you're going to be giving?
So I'm really excited
Wow.
about this because this is one of the things that sort of came out of the pandemic. I was just sitting
It's
around
teacher blood.
with my husband and just kind of thinking, I was like, there was so much with the Lightning Thief. Like we had so many people that loved the show, so many people that it reached out to, so many different things. And it was sort of that question my dad asked, at 3 a.m, what would you be able to do? And I kind of thought, I was like, well, I'm descended from many, many teachers. And my mom's a teacher, her mother was a teacher, her mother was a teacher. So it was kind of like that,
Wow.
it runs in the family. My brother's a teacher now. So
it's teacher blood.
Right. Exactly. So I said, right now, since there's, nothing happening on stage right now, maybe I should give a try of trying to teach. And I knew that the Lightning Thief has such good material and I know that people want to learn, about the characters. They want to learn about the songs. They're like, how do I dance DOA, So that's kind of how it came about. And I knew that TheaterWorks had the academy going. So I reached out to them and I was like, so what do you think about this? And they were like, we think it's great. So yeah, we sort of broke it down into 3 different classes. The first class being the DOA Dance It Out class, where literally I think that was the most important because I feel like we were cooped up in our houses so much that we needed to dance it out. So I was like, let's make sure we do this one first. Dance it, exactly. Just to dance out those frustrations, dance out the zaniness of what's actually happening outside. So I was like, exactly. So I said, let's teach this the number to DOA. The choreography to DOA. So we'll be doing that in the first session of the class. And I teach it to you. Well, it's not the whole song. It's sort of like kind of halfway through. And some of the speaking parts are cut out. So it goes, it's just straight dancing. And I teach that. We do like a little warm up at the beginning. And then at the end of the class, we do a Q&A and things like that. So and I answer all kind of fun questions about tour and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the first class. Second class is the strong song class. And with the strong song class, what happens is everybody
strong
picks a song. Oh yeah, you get it. Strong song, strong singing that. Yeah. But yeah, the strong song class basically is a class. Everybody picks a song from the show, and it's just like a little snippet. I think verse and chorus for the most part. And they'll sing it for me, and then I'll kind of gauge, where they're at musically, where they're at performance-wise, and things like that. So once I do that, I'll give you like feedback and sort of tell you to try this and try that and try this, and then we see how it goes. I think this last time around, since we didn't have that many people, we were able to do it a couple of times. Like each person was able to do it a couple of times. So with each time they were able to do it, they improved each and every time they did it. So that was really exciting to be able to see, kids like kind of start one place and then grow and grow and grow, like right before your eyes. And
Wow, that's
then
awesome.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. So the third class that we have is the Act Like a Demigod class, and that
Ooh.
one, yeah, this one I think is one of my favorite. Actually, it might be my favorite because you do scenes from the show either with someone else or you'll do a monologue by yourself. With this last time we put the monologues in because learning, like going back and forth sometimes with Wi-Fi and things like that, sometimes you're not able to like really express it the way you want. So I was like, if they get the choice of monologue, then they can do it all, as a whole. And with this one, sort of the same thing as the strong song class. You do it one time, and then sort of get corrections and helpful tips and hints and how to do things like that, and mainly how to relate the character to you so that you can express it even better. But yeah, there's a whole slew of different things that I have in my back pocket to kind of help bring out the best side, the best
Yeah,
character and
make
things
make
like
that
that.
connection between the character and yourself.
Right, that's the most important step. Yeah. So I get excited with that one too, because it's the same thing. Like you'll see like some person start right here and then they grow and they grow and grow, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah. So I'm excited about it. So you could do, and also like there's a choice for you to do all three sessions, and then they give you a little discount. So that's always fun. But you can either pick your favorite or you can join for the whole thing. But yeah, all of my students that I've taught, it's just amazing. They've taught me as well. So it's been an interesting sort of journey, kind of starting to get into teaching Lightning Thief and things like that. And it's like such great material too. So I enjoy it.
That's really incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you also had to have a learning curve to sort of plan out and design these lessons?
Oh yeah. I first had to find it. Like, well, it's funny enough, I kind of knew the script back and forth. After we did it for like a solid year, I knew the script, I knew the songs, I knew those different things. But my question was which songs would appeal to everybody, which songs would somebody really want to sing, or which scenes would somebody really want to do, or which one, so it was a lot of deciphering which ones would work well and what parts would be good. DOA is fun because literally half of it is choreography and half of it is make it your own. Because I did that every single night. so, so it was yeah, it's choose your own adventure there with DOA. But yeah, having to sort of put all of that out. But like I said, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I'm gonna like make sure I have everything written down and make sure this is that and all this kind of stuff before I send it out. And Jillian, who works over at TWUSA, she helped me out, sort of kind of bouncing ideas on and off of, as far as making things, making things accessible to everybody, and what would work and what
Yeah.
wouldn't. So yeah, it was a bit of a curve learning how to teach, I guess. Because I had no idea what would happen. Before the very first class, I had no idea what was going to happen, what was going to, transpire. Were people going to like it? It's sort of that whole situation, like, were people going to have fun? Were people going to learn? So there were so many questions going through my head. But after the first time we did everything, it was incredible. To see like the growth, and to be a part of something that I think just about every kid knows about Lightning Thief. So it's
Yeah.
nice to see it being able to relate to the material and have fun with it.
Yeah, to make it a way that you can, teach it with something that they know.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
As things get back, and as you start like planning other things,
Mhm.
what can you tell us about your upcoming projects, about what you're thinking of doing, where you're thinking of going?
Ah, Well, right now, a lot of that is still very, very much in the air because we don't have like there's not right now there's not enough people that know what's going on to tell us something definite. So as far as like Broadway and live theater coming back. So at this point, everything is sort of virtual. In essence, I do have a live stream that's coming up. Titanic is what it's called. And it's sort of a mashup between Celine Dion and the Titanic movie. It's crazy farce
Ooh.
sort of, but it's a little PG-16.
Oh, oh no.
Just for language alone. But yeah, it's,
Oh God.
it's a little adult. But I do I also have a cabaret coming up at Sharon Playhouse in Connecticut. I'll be working on a sort of one woman cabaret show up there as well. And it'll be the Chronicles of Love. It's all the songs I love to sing. So that's gonna be a fun thing.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's one's going to be live as well, and I think everybody's going to be sort of socially distanced, and I'm going to be singing out on sort of a patio deck kind of thing going on. So everybody's going to be outdoors, but it'll be good to be back on a stage and performing for actual people again. I will say the one thing that I've
It's
had
not
to
your Zoom screen anymore.
right. That's one thing that I've had to get used to. I had to get used to performing and not feel it, because there's an energy you get from a live audience. There's a feeling you get. There's when this joke lands, there you laugh immediately. You get it. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, this works. But when that is absent, when that's like
It worked. It worked.
it's like, when it's somewhere else, it's
Everybody's
so
on mute, and you're
daunting.
like, "Are they laughing?"
Right. It's so daunting because you're like, am I doing this right? Is this the way this is supposed to go? It's definitely a different feeling, and it's something to get used to. I've had to just kind of like, just do it, kind of attitude. Just do it. It's fine. It'll work out. But it's very different. I will say that has been a bit of a curve, with the new normal we have. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, one thing I was wondering is, are
Mhm.
there any Broadway shows that you sort of wish you could be on sometime in the
I
future?
mean, in the future, far off, if you could pick any number of shows from the past, from the present, from the
Oh
grand vat of
man.
shows that they keep somewhere.
I I'm always gonna be in my heart a Little Shop of Horrors girl. I've done the show several times, but I just love that show. It is so much fun. I was Chiffon, I was Ronette. I'm always one of the girls, doo-wop girls, but I feel like Little Shop will always be forever. Like I love
Your
that
favorite show.
It's one of. I have a
One
couple
of,
of
one of,
others.
yeah. Make sure we don't
I have a
get the
couple of
fans
others.
angry.
Exactly. I have a couple others. Lightning Thief. But also, funny enough, right when everything shut down, I think it was March 12th, I had an audition for Hadestown. And
Oh.
I went, and it was right when they shut Broadway down. And so a couple of folks that I knew had shows were coming into the audition as well. And I was like, what are you guys doing here? And they're like, well, Broadway was shut down, so I'm gonna audition. Sort of the life of the actor. And I think I would love to be a part of that show. I don't know if I'm the type, but that's definitely one that I'd love to be a part of. Hadestown. Yeah.
Yeah, look, so you're sticking to the same
Sort of,
mythological inspiration.
you
You just learned all the gods. Let's
right,
do the same thing.
exactly. I did my research, so now let's just go into this part of Greek mythology.
That's awesome. Yeah, so as we kind of reached
I
the
mean, I'll just say I would love to see you in the currently non-existent Sea of Monsters musical.
oh,
No,
oh
I remember
Samuel.
when we started we started the Lightning Thief rehearsals. Rick, our Rick, excuse me, our Rick was working on music with Sarah Beth, who plays Clarice, but it was for something else entirely. It had monsters in the title, and that's why I thought, like, I just was like, wait, is it happening? I think they were doing, but I think it's a totally different
What can you
show they
tell
were
us about
working
the unreleased script?
No. I wish. I
what
wish
hints
I'd be
can you
at that
drop?
audition. I'd be at that audition. I tell you that. No, I have no idea about Sea of Monsters. I think it would be a great call. I'd love, because I love me some
I think it
Tyson.
would be a fantastic
I
one as well.
I love me some Tyson, and I would love if his character like actually came to the Broadway stage. I would love that.
Could pass along the word that there is excitement in the streets.
I will definitely do that. I will get that to the creatives and let them know there's a call for the Sea of Monsters. So yeah.
there is a deep need, want, and desire.
Yeah, and if not like a Broadway musical, we could do a virtual musical, or some kind of something. We're getting into new territory now. I would love to see that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
That would be totally awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we kind of start to wrap up our interview, we're gonna give kind of our final question sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, you've spoken about kind of what led you to get your role in the show, but what advice would you give to somebody who wants to make their Broadway debut, somebody who wants to get into acting, somebody who wants to come into this space, but may not know how and how to go about it?
Okay. So I would say start now. If you love it, if you absolutely love it, start now. It doesn't matter what age you are, start now. Like, right, today is the day. And I would say take as many classes as you can. Dance classes, singing classes, acting classes. I know everything is kind of virtual
Your
right
classes.
now. My class, of course, absolutely. It's such a courage builder. I love it. Yeah. So take classes now. Learn the craft. Learn the art. And learn how to do it just in front of people. Half of the time, you can do all of these things sort of virtually, but like go in front of your like mom and dad and like give them, give them a little Percy Jackson monologue or something.
Hand them a little playbill.
Exactly.
Starring
moi. Exactly. But yeah, start with the classes. Take classes first and get into it and see if it's something you really absolutely love, because in this journey you're gonna need patience. You're going to have to persevere a little bit. I made my Broadway debut 18 years after I started theater.
Oh.
So, yeah. Now, granted, I've been fortunate enough to perform just various stages, but it took me 18 years to make my actual Broadway debut. Some people, they get it right out of college or they get it right out of high school. You never know. Some that's still in school, but the journey can be long. So just know, it might take some time. So patience is definitely one of the things I would say to have as well. And just a love of performing and love of theater. Definitely you want to put that in your knapsack as well. You want to hold on to that too. But yeah, get involved in those classes and know that majority of the time is going to be auditioning. It's the truth.
Showing up, not
your
getting
job,
a call back.
Yeah, your job is not the gig. Your job is auditioning. That's your job. So get used to it. Do it as much as you can, so that you don't you don't get into a place of like not wanting to go and do this. Now, for some people, they're fortunate enough that, like I said, they just look out on things, but definitely work hard at auditioning and work hard at learning your craft and perfecting your craft and knowing that there is no one else like you. That is another important thing like that. A lot of time, we get typed in different categories and things like that, but if you just do you and to the best of your abilities, your time will come. So just remember that.
Wow, that's some fantastic advice for people who would be looking to do that. And I know there's definitely a lot of people listening to this right now who would love to follow in your footsteps and do the things that you've done.
Well, thank you. But just know everybody's got their own journey, but start today. Wherever your journey is, start today.
That is some great advice. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. How can people find your classes, follow you on social media? If you have a website, you can plug that too.
Yes. So I'm looking
Give
it
us
all
the
up.
spiel.
So I'm Jaylin Steele. You can find me on Instagram, Jaylin the Entertainer. Facebook, you can look for my page, Jaylin Steele Facebook page. My Twitter is so not used, so don't even worry about it. I think I have 6 followers. I never go over there. But if you are interested in signing up for the classes, please visit twusa.org, the Academy. And just look for the Lightning Thief Experience with Jaylin Steele classes. I have the website written down, but it's way too long to try to say right now. So just head over to
put it in the
TWUSA.
description.
Yes, there you go. And like I said, you can sign up for the individual classes, or if you sign up for all 3, you do get a discount with LT. I think LT 15 off. But more information is going to be on the website. Yeah.
Awesome.
And all those links are in the description, so definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Check them out down below if you want to learn more about Jaylin. Thank you so much again for being on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. And yeah.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. It was a blast. So much fun.
And that's it for this episode of The Half-Blood Report. 2 interviews were released today, so make sure you check the other one out if you haven't already. You can follow the show on Twitter at HalfReport. You can also find us on Instagram at The Half-Blood Report, and our email is thehalfbloodreport@gmail.com. We also have a website, thehalfbloodreport.com. And please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We read and respond to those on our seasonal mailbag episodes. You can buy our merch on our Teespring shop. There's a link in the description to that. The current merch is drawn by @MaloMocha on Instagram, and it's really amazing, and you can use the code OUTRO for $3 off. Also, you can order any book from our bookshop affiliate page, which can be found on our website. Thanks to all of you for listening. That said, it's time for credits. Our theme music is actually by my co-host Diego. I'm Samuel, and I do our editing. This is the Half-Blood Report podcast, the only HBR that matters. Survive till next week.
I'm Jaylin Steele, and I played Sally, Selena, and others in The Lightning Thief the Musical on Broadway. And I never listened to the Half-Blood Report. Never, ever in a million years would I listen.